last question. What do you guys pick?
Hi.
Your hand stayed up.
There we go. Well, so I know that some of the issues that DOGE has made hay with, they long predate DOGE. The Government Accountability Office identified $2.7 trillion in improper payments from, I believe, 2003 until 2023. And there have been some hearings and oversight where there's been bipartisan concern about improper payments. All that is to say, is there any way, given DOGE and given the prominence of Elon Musk, for Democrats to own on messaging aspects of some of those, reform elements, or is this an issue that it's just going to be difficult to bring to the forefront?
Look, I'll sit down and talk to anybody about waste and fraud, and I'd start with the Pentagon, to be perfectly frank. But this meat axe approach that we are watching is hurting innocent people every single day. I was at the VA the day after they announced VA cuts. I had veterans, and in the staff, while they're worried about what's going to happen, are more worried about veterans' care. The Detroit Dingell Hospital, I don't care who's Veterans Secretary, had issues. I went to the Secretary of Veteran Affairs. We got an Inspector General report. The director was fired in a Democratic administration of the hospital. That's hard. And it's understaffed. And now you're going to cut them more? And by the way, when you talk about critical jobs, keeping the building heated, keeping the inventory there matters too. And when you're cutting things like research for burn pits, or we've had 30 years. I have had Vietnam vets that have died of Agent Orange. For 30 years, we have been making a promise and have a moral responsibility to take care of those veterans. We finally do it, and now we're not going to meet our obligation under the PACT Act? And I could go on. Last Friday, when I was at 2 Fridays ago, or 10 days ago, at the Veterans Hospital, downtown Detroit, they had just fired people at the Great Lakes Lab, and this woman just collapsed in my arms. Do you know the kind of work that's not going to get done? It's algae bloom and keeping the water safe. It's NOAA and weather and predicting floods, and it's safety. We're cutting air traffic controllers. How many air traffic events have we had? Firefighters that are fighting fires. I could go through the list. So you don't take a meat axe. We'll have a conversation, but you don't cut programs that are hurting people every single day.
Can I say one more thing?
You may say whatever you want.
So I do think Democrats are committed to modernizing our systems, rooting out fraud, waste, and abuse. I think there's a way to do that that is respectful of the programs that people rely on, respectful of the federal employees who could actually help us identify where some of those buckets of cost are that can be trimmed. That should be done in full view of the American people. It should be debated. It should be the role of Congress. Exactly. It should not be left to a billionaire who has not been elected, who has not been vetted by the Senate or the administration, who has multiple billion-dollar contracts with the DOD, with the FAA, with the FDA, to go through and start wiping out personnel and programs that people rely on. That is just not the way to do it. It is Congress's role to do that, and that is something where we're fully committed to doing those audits and rooting out fraud, abuse, and waste, but I think that we want to do that in full view of the American people.
Would you agree that the Pentagon is an area that requires...
Absolutely. The Pentagon hasn't passed an audit since I've been in Congress.
Well before that.
That's it. Thank you very much. It's
Thank
good
you.
to see you all.
Thanks so much.